Okay. Let's get things moving. We have a few things to do today to help you get ready for the test, okay? I hope that everybody remembers, knows that Friday is the day, okay? So as I said, today is, let's put it this way, a review, a recap, just to warm us for Big Friday, okay? For our White Friday, not Black Friday. Okay. So we're going to be doing a review. I'm not going to be here talking to you. We're going to be doing some quizzes. And after you're done with the quiz, I'll be walking through the questions and I'll be explaining. And hopefully, again, you're going to have a good practice of what's about to come up. So as I said, the objective of today is to review and get ready for test 2. We're going to do that via 3 quizzes and 1 exercise. The exercise will be a hands-on, it's more of a game. The exercise will be a bit of a game. I'll show you once you get there. But we're going to start, I cannot leave you without showing again this diagram. Again, I hope that it's imprinted in your memories at this point. You should be able to write this down with eyes closed. Maybe it's a question. Maybe you're going to have to close your eyes and draw this diagram in the test. So let's start with, actually, before we start, I wanted to mention about the climate survey, okay? I'm going to mention for the last time. Well, maybe Friday I'll mention that again. But just to give a sense of competitiveness. Okay, here are my 5 sections. We are this one here, 70%. Okay, we are losing for this one and this one. It's better that we beat them up, okay? So if you have not completed your climate survey, please do it. We want to beat the other ones, the other sections, okay? Again, we are 70%. Come on, that's 21 out of 30. I'm sure that someone here did not fill out the survey. So please do it. Doesn't matter what you put there. You can just put, you know what, my instructor keeps bugging me about climate survey. Put it there. Put it there. Okay? But put something. Quiz. Again, Friday, to be honest, it's like a quiz, just a bigger quiz. It's like a boosted quiz. We work with 4 questions here. They're going to be working with 40 questions, okay? But again, just a quiz. Just a quiz. So let's start there. Quiz number 1 is this one here. Yeah, we didn't do yet. So let's see here. Let's get a live session here. So again, nearpods.com. And this is the code. So go there, Nearpods. You can use the name. If you don't want, that's fine. Up to you. I'm hiding all the names anyway. As usual, Padlet is open there. So again, if you have anything you want to ask about anything, you can ask there as well, anonymously, or just raise your hand. Let me put a few minutes here. Okay, let's have a look here. In an MVC application, where do you typically apply validation? Where is it? In the user interface, models. Give me an idea of what is validation. I mean, give me an example in your codes that deals with validation. Required. Yeah, required is one of those. It's the one that we saw the most. Not only required, but there's also range. You can have a range. If it's a numeric value, you can have a range. If it's an email, you can have a regular expression. So yes, where do you add that required? Where is it? In the model. In the class, okay? You flag each, you annotate. It's called an attribute, it's called annotation, okay? So that's where you flag. So that's the domain model. Don't get fooled by the term domain, okay? Domain is just saying that if it's an academic system, student is a model that belongs to the domain of academic systems. The domain is the things related to that business, academic, e-commerce, accounting. So yes, domain model. Any questions? Now, when you apply that required field to the domain model, if you are using jQuery, you're going to have some validation happening in the front ends. But again, originally, you applied to the domain model, okay? how do you access the form's data value of an input called email? Think about the hidden fields that you had to add, like when you are using delete. You're saying something? What's that? You're fine. B, okay? So by declaring a parameter called email in the action post method, that's correct. So you declare, you add as a field, as an input field in the view, and then that can become a parameter. Like what we did in the login view. We had username, passwords, and email address. So initially what we did, we created 3 parameters in the create action. And then eventually we changed that to a model, but you can capture that, the email, the input fields via parameters. Okay? Okay. When creating the migration scripts, which parameter do we have to use in the package manager console to specify which database we want to generate the scripts for? Context. Now, based on this question, I mean, what is it that we are assuming about how many databases we have here? We have at least 2 here, because otherwise, if we have just one database, we don't have to add context, because we just have one database. If I run the migration script, I don't need to say which database am I referring to. There's just one. So dash context is just used if you have multiple ones. Okay? Again, any questions here? Anything?
What was the second question?
The second question?
Yes.
What's the question? Oh, okay. Okay, so context. Okay? Next one here. Okay. Now, this is the type of question that is the reason why I recommend to have your source code close by. Which source code? Sports store, your assignments, the exercises that we have done. Because then, I don't expect you to memorize those things. I know because I've done this a few times, but again, I don't have those methods on top of my head. So what you do is you have a look at the code there. Now, actually let me read it. So what methods are used to create services that are required for session management? So based on the question, which class, which file are you going to have a look at? Choose the startup, okay? So at least now, okay, so I should have a look at the startup. Let me have a look there. Let me see what makes sense according to the question here. So, which ones? C. Why not D? D because D, I can find both of them. I can find. So why C, not D? If I can find this as well there. Let's have a look at the question. The question is asking about session management. So MVC, even though it is one of the methods that we use to add MVC to the application, but it's not used because of session management. Okay? It's to add MVC. Now, session management is used when we actually, to use session management, we have to use the memory cache in the, add session. Okay? Any questions? I think that the other ones, they don't even exist. Yeah, add memory management, yeah. Okay. Okay, great. So keep your pages open there, because I'll just move forward and there's another set of questions. So another four questions. So let's do that as well. Again, if you have not loaded, this is the code. But if you have, you can just keep it there and move forward. Okay, let's try this. What is the correct syntax if you want to create a strongly typed view to show a list of students? Yeah, at this point in time, I will not forgive anyone that does not answer that correctly. Yes, B, students. So again, remember, lowercase at the directives. At the very top, lowercase model, enumerable, and then we have the type, students. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so in a project called student system, this is, well, you could just check that, again, it's open book. In a project called student system, where does it keep a reference of the packages needed to run the application? Okay, so it's the project. It's the project file. Okay, if you right-click on the project, you have an option that says edit file, and you can see all the references to external libraries that are being made by the project. Okay. Okay, so the tag helper reference is usually found in which file? In which one? Viewimports. So viewimports, what else? What other types of directives can you also find in the viewimports? At using, okay? So you can import other namespaces, and it applies to all the views. So the ones that we have seen were really the at using and the tag helper. Viewimports. Yes. A and B? A and B. Oh, A and D, yes. Shared, not shared, yes. The folder, okay? Okay, let's recall, it's buried there somewhere in our back of our heads, routing. Way back then, once upon a time, the following routes will default to which view? Which view is that? How about we have a look and assess here. So that route there, what is the default controller? Home. What is the default action? List. So where would such view, default view, would be stored in the views? So again, C. So we have C. Okay, 1 second. Oh, yes. Views, home controller, list action there. Yeah, correct. Admin has nothing to do with admin. Admin here is fixed, okay? So it's not a controller, okay? What else we have? We can see here. So again, controller here, admin. It's not the controller here. The default controller is home. And here, once again, we have admin controller. It's really the home one. Any questions about this?
So what means admin here?
Admin is a fixed keyword. So it will be expected in the URL to have the word admin there. It's just it's not a variable. You find variables inside of curly braces, but when you have a word like that outside of curly braces, it means that it should be there. Like page 1, like in our examples, like page 1, the name page needs to be there in the URL.
So why don't we have an answer like admin and views and then
Why don't we?
have like admin and slash and then all the controls?
Why don't we have that? Because that's not the example. I mean, the example, again, this is just an hypothetical situation. It can exist, yes, it can. However, again, why is that like that? Because I put it there. It's just an example. It's just an example. So you can think about okay, how do I break this down? What are the different parts here? So there's no major plan behind that URL. It's just a simple example. Okay.
If it was there, then it would be an answer.
It will be.
It would be the correct answer. Admin, views, home, list.
Correct, yes. But again, that URL can exist. It can exist, okay? It's not I mean, the same way as you have, again, the page 1, page 2, page 3 in our old examples. Okay? Okay, last one. Okay, so now I have the third quiz. Third quiz, we're going to do something slightly different. Are you ready to compete? Are you ready to compete? Are you ready to win? Okay, so I've never tried this before, okay? So it may fail miserably, but it may succeed as well. Let's see. So this is another one, but it's a competition. I would recommend that you put your name. If you want to put your name, you can put your nickname, that's fine. If you put your nickname and if you win and if you don't say who you are, you don't get the prize. So there's a prize. For the top one, maybe for the second and third, let's see. So let's go for a live session here. Go for that one. You're going to be asked to put your nickname, to put a character there as well. And it's about speed, and it's about correctness. So it's not just about being correct. You not only have to be correct, but you have to be fast, too. The first time that I saw this game, I was in a class with 40 people, and I won. I won that game. The first time that I saw that. Someone was at the college providing training on AirPods, and they were running this little competition. Okay, so I need to close this, I assume, and I need to set start, I assume. So give it a try. Go put your nicknames there. I'm going to go with the space one. So let's see. Continue here. Okay, so join. I think that is, yeah, let's see. Join there. Choose your character, put your name. Again, is that the sound? Oh, it's one of you. Okay, so yes, so we are connecting. Come on. I have 22 people here. It should be at least 20 people here. Come on. Anyone having problems with this? Getting to this? Again, I would like to know if there's any problem so I can be ready for problems. Now, we have 6 questions, okay? 6 questions. It's about speed and it's about accuracy. Yes? You're not getting the screen? Okay. Okay, 22, great. Woohoo. Let's go for it. Okay, so I'm going to hit start, and the question will start to pop out, okay? And then you answer the one, you click on the one. Start here in 1 and 2 and 3. And we have our leaderboard here. Maybe I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide the leaderboard. Yes. "30 seconds for each question, I think. Student 22 is doing well. Hassan, come on, keep going. Manu, I don't know who you are, but keep going. You have a fair chance there. Last one, last stretch here. Okay, and we have, I think that we are done here. We have our, I think there was some sort of a, yeah, that's great. Okay, student 22, who's that? Student 22. Okay, great, Curtis. Did you get a magazine before? No, you did not. So that's your prize. And sorry, I just have for the first one, okay? Woohoo! Great, okay, so I'm gonna open the questions and I'm gonna go one by one so we have time to digest the questions and the answers, okay? I'm gonna take a snapshot. Okay. For later. Okay, so I'm gonna exit here, yes. And I need to go to edit this. Okay, so let's have a look one by one here. I'm looking at the back end. So let me see if I can visualize this a little bit better. Collapse all. Okay, let's go question by question here. Okay, so the first one here. What are the two most common HTTP methods? You know, again, the ones that we have been used the most are the get and post. Okay, the other ones still exist, but there is a trend to no longer use the delete and the put. But again, get and post are the ones that we have used the most. Okay. Any questions about this? Again, this should be second nature to us at this point. Ta-da-da is the HTTP methods or action used to send data from the client to the server. Remember, posting. You are sending information or posting information when you delete, when you submit a form, okay? So we are posting information. This. Okay, that's fine. Okay, when a request comes into an MVC application, who's responsible to figure out where it should be directed to? You know, remember our diagram. Remember our first part there. You know, the router. The router is the one responsible. Now, yeah. So the router is responsible. But in the end, it's a controller that processes the request. The router is just responsible to figure out which controller it should go to, which action it should call. Okay, but who does the heavy lifting in a way is a controller that does the figuring out of things. But again, routing is just like, as I said in the very beginning, a traffic controller. It says, okay, this traffic here goes here, this one goes here. It doesn't care about what the traffic is about, okay? Just routing the traffic. Okay, so which line of code configures the way URLs are structured controllers and actions on an MVC application. So we have add MVC, but the add MVC does not configure. It just adds MVC to the application, okay? It just adds the MVC service to the application. Developer exception page is just to provide a developer-friendly exception page. The very last one, this one here is the one line in the program.cs, okay, that runs the application. And we have, last but not least, we have the use default route. We have use MVC of default route, and we also have use MVC where I can define the routing manually, okay? Any questions? Okay. In an MVC application, which folder stores static content like style sheets, JavaScript files, and image files? Again, this should be second nature to all of you. www root is the one. Which dynamic object is used to transfer data from the controller to the view, ideally temporary data, which is not included in the model? So we have the view bag. Now, just want to again, pay attention to what I'm saying right now. View bag is used to transfer from the controller to the view, from the view to the controller. However, if you have a redirect in your action, view bag does not keep the value if you have a redirect. With redirects, you should use temp data. Temp data will keep its value throughout a redirect, but redirects, if you have a redirect, view bag is not useful because the data will not be kept through a redirect when using a view bag. Oh yeah, but I'm just extending a little bit the explanation here. View bag is the one for this one here, transferring from controller to the view. Okay. Okay, any questions? Okay. If you're ready, can I just save some time, have Friday off, and do it right now? Okay, so second part here is this. I'm just going to explain, and then we will go for a break, but I'll explain first. Okay. So, I have a little exercise for us to do. We did this. Okay, this one here is a little bit different from what we have been doing before. Usually, you do the code from scratch, and you are asked to do X, Y, and Z, and you do it. This time around, we're going to do something a little bit different. Something that will require your troubleshooting skills. Who knows how to put a breakpoint? Again, there's something that's, I get pissed that people leave comp229 not knowing how to put a breakpoint. Lots of you here don't know how to add a breakpoint. Breakpoints are your friends. Breakpoints is how you debug, how you come to understand what is going on wrong. See, imagine this. Now, you are trying to figure out what's going wrong. Without a breakpoint, you are reading code there. You are just reading the code and trying to, if it comes here, just in your head. With breakpoints, you are able to put a breakpoint and see exactly what is the application doing. So I just want to show you how to put a breakpoint. Because to do this, you're going to have to put some breakpoints there. Otherwise, it will become hard for you to figure things out. So I have an application open here. I'm just going to give an example of, I have a controller. Actually, let me do this. This application that I have loaded right now is this one without the errors. Okay, so I'm just going to run it. Okay, so it's a TTC application for the buses to see how late they are. No, not to see how late they are, but just to enter, some bus information there, some basic information. Let's see this. Let's see the use of a breakpoint. If we click Edit, something will happen here. See, that bus comes up. Now, what if I want to see the details of what is happening when I click Edit? What if I want to troubleshoot? What if I want to debug that? Well, I go to my code, and I'll go to the home controller. I'll have the actions here. I'll just get some more space. And let's say that we have the edit here. So when I say put a breakpoint, go to the far left of your browser, of your editor, and you see this gray area? You just click on the gray area in the line that you want the code to stop when it reaches that point. So in this case here, I'm going to just put it right here when it calls the view. So what happens is that when the application reaches that point, it stops and it comes back to the code. Now, what you can do is, okay, let's see if there's any ID coming up. Okay, so you can move the mouse over. Oh, ID is 1. So now you know that there is an ID. What else? Well, here we don't have anything. I mean, we cannot see this. But again, in a case like that, this is a very simple example. You can move the mouse over and see the values of things that are going around. Okay? So that's how you debug. Very useful. A coder is not a coder if the person doesn't know how to debug. Okay? Because most of the time that you're going to be, if you're going to become coders, most of our time will be dedicated on, actually, there's this joke that 10% of your time as a coder is creating something new. 90% is fixing what you have created. It's trying to fix whatever you did. Okay? So this is how you troubleshoot. So what is the point of this exercise? Well, I've provided this code, but with 7 bugs, with 7 problems. Okay? And you have to be a detective here and figure out what are the problems. Now, I gave you a bunch of clues. So you can go to week13, download that file, and then you can go through clue by clue here. Now, you need to sort it out, the first one, before you can go to the next one. Otherwise, they won't work. You cannot, don't jump, because, again, if you don't get this one right, you won't be able not even to run the application. But again, clue 1, you do this. This is what is happening. This is what should happen. You do this. Clue number 2, run the application. The wrong result is what happens. Bootstrap is not loaded. The expected result is this. Bootstrap gets loaded. What is wrong there with the code? Clue 3, you click the create button. The button doesn't work. What is the expected result? Well, the button should work, and you should see the create view. So for each arrow, you have a scenario that you're going to reproduce. You're going to see this behavior, but this is the expected one. And you're going to go through it, fixing it, and troubleshooting. And let's see. Good luck. There's no week 13. There's no week 13? Whoa. Let me have a look at that here. Did I add? Okay, of course, I added in section 4. That's the reason why. So let me go and add to the correct section. Okay. Okay. This is there. And the PowerPoint as well is there right now. And this is supposed to be the test to review. Okay, perfect. Both are there. The file and the PDF with instructions. Again, get going. Let's actually, before we get started, let's go for our 10 minutes break. And then once we cut back, we can get, not 10 minutes, sorry, 5 minutes. Yep. What's up? Yeah. Yeah, that's one of theirs. Go troubleshoot. The first one is the first error. You can only move forward if you fix that one.
just with this.
Yeah, it would create the database, and it would give you it would not give you a red error like that. It would just create the database.
Just update dash.
Yeah, update dash database will create the database for you. So if it's given that error, it's not creating the database. If it's not creating the database, you cannot run the application because it needs this is the database. Okay. Okay, the niche row, the niche, EJ, and Ruxion U. Okay, so here's what else I'll be also doing. I'll be going through assignment 3, okay? So I'll just give you a heads up of who am I going to see the assignment 3 right away so you can download. But again, as I go through assignment 3, you keep going with the exercise, okay?